This is Out Loud and Laughing.
What is up, out loud, and laughing? We are back with another episode, and today we're feeling a little extra sentimental because we're talking about the family you choose, not the kind of family that asks you, why are you still single at Thanksgiving? We're talking about the real deal, our chosen fam. And speaking of chosen fam, today's guest is literally the architect of a global network of support. He's a salon owner from rural Tennessee who decided that if someone's biological parents won't show up for them, he and thousands of others will. Please welcome the founder and CEO of Standin Pride, the internet's favorite stand-in dad, Daniel Blevins. Welcome, Daniel.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
We are so enamored with everything that you're bringing to the table, how you're using technology to meet outreach. Daniel, welcome. We've been following your journey, right? So, well, not in a creepy way because that could be weird. But you've been a stylist and a salon owner for over 25 years. Does that background help when you're parenting a community of thousands? Because we know hairstyles are basically therapists with better scissors. So tell us all about that.
We are therapists, but now that really the only benefit the only correlation, I guess, is the downtime between clients that I'm able to do to, make TikToks and Instagram reels, things like that. But there's really no other crossover other than, hairstyling has paid my bills for over 25 years.
Yeah.
Totally fair, Dan. And can you, we have a couple of questions around Stand in Pride and all the amazing work you're doing. Can you just talk to us a little bit about the organization before we kind of deep dive into it?
Yeah, we started off, we're getting, today's our anniversary. We're 5 years
Oh,
old today.
oh,
All started
congrats.
from a TikTok video that I made offering to be a stand-in dad for LGBTQ plus couples whose parents wouldn't attend their weddings. And
Mm.
so that one video led to the creation of a Facebook group, which then eventually led to, I think we had about 26 total Facebook groups. There were 6 based in the US based on, like, regional, Facebook groups, and then there were others outside the country that I wasn't running, but other people were managing those, and then that led to, um, needing support off of Facebook because a lot of queer people don't feel safe, especially if they're estranged from their family. They don't wanna be on socials where their family can find them. So we built our own app and, to give people, that space to find the chosen family that they were seeking. So that's kind of the origin story in a nutshell.
I mean, you talk about the origin story, which I think is super important because your viral video, I think it was January 2021, based on our
Yes,
research, honestly changed everything, right? So you
it
offer
did.
to be a stand-in dad, and now you have this massive, nonprofit with thousands of members. So did you have any idea when you hit post that it would explode like this?
No, and to be honest, I wouldn't have posted it if I'd known. Just because my not because I don't believe in it, just because the social anxiety
Yeah.
that I've had to
Mm,
face, you know, big major outlets doing like this is not too out of my comfort zone, but no, just to have so many eyes focused on me was never. I wasn't prepared for that, so that's taken some getting used to, but I don't regret it. Like there are no regrets.
Outside of your getting comfortable with being in front of large audiences, had you ever done any work with nonprofit before or any sort of community work prior to this? No.
No, I had done some volunteer work locally, like with different organizations just here in my town, but nothing on this scale. Like, I'm the CEO of a nonprofit, and I don't have a clue what I'm doing. It's a scary thing.
Fun fact, nobody does.
I'm learning that. I'm learning that. That's an interesting thing, like, we're just kinda making it up as we go, and I think that's actually adulting.
I think what's interesting about that is that's kind of how our community has been raised. It's just kind of figure it out as we go. So I honestly
Mhm.
feel like we've kind of been built to do this, right, Dan? Like we've been built to say,
Right.
okay, great, this isn't working, let's pivot.
Right, yeah, and, like, especially in the tech side, like we said, I've been in, hairdressing for over 25 years. I don't know the first thing about building an app. I don't know how apps run, and luckily, I'm not in charge of that. There are people that know what they're doing with that, but, it was fun for me to be part of, what that was gonna look like on everybody's screens, and it's still evolving, but, that was a huge undertaking, and I was not prepared for how much work that tech is, and ongoing work, not just to get it built, but just to maintain it now. It's just every day something else is going wrong.
That's incredible. Now and we know, right? So Brian and I have jobs as well, and we work in technology, and we're probably part of the problem. But um, we try to be part of the solution, but
Yeah.
we understand how that can go. Uh, but outside of work life, you have a beautiful personal life as well. So you're partnered. You've been with your husband since 2000, so like 25 years.
Yes. Mhm,
Wow, if I'm
26.
doing my gay 26, I was just gonna say, if I'm doing my
Yeah,
gay math correctly, that's like a
yeah,
century in gay years, so
yeah,
kudos. But, at one point you mentioned, walking your own daughter down the aisle in 2018, when she got
mhm.
married was a major catalyst for you. So if we could just spend a little time talking about your personal experience as a father of 2 and now a grandfather of 3, how does
6.
that shape the way you lead? 6! Well,
Yes.
we need to
We
revisit
need to
our
update.
wow.
You are
Yeah,
Both
multiplying.
I was gonna
both kids
say,
yeah, both kids have 3 each, so we're up to
you
6
guys are
now.
popping them out faster than we can get episodes live, but, how is all of this, growing your own family, how has this helped you lead, Standin Pride?
Um, the biggest part that I've upon reflecting, I've found that my kids are adults now. My son just turned 30, last week, and my daughter's 28. They're both married with children, and I think as a dad who was very involved with my children, um, this has given me I feel like a purpose because my kids don't need me anymore. So now I feel needed by other
Mm.
people. And so, that empty nest syndrome that a lot of parents face once their children, move away. So it's kind of fulfilled that need in me of wanting to feel needed, um, and providing that safe space for people who don't have it. Just a dad to send a message to. I actually have a son who I haven't met in person. We don't live in the same state, but, he's been my stand-in son before Stand-in Pride ever existed, and we met through TikTok, and anytime he's needing somebody to talk to, his dad has passed away. He's like, "Hey, dad, how are you?" And so we'll just chat, and he always knows that I'm there if he needs me, but, going back to walking my daughter down the aisle, and that was before I ever started this social media journey of, being a content creator. And so it really resonated with me once I got on TikTok and started seeing these videos from people, my parents are not going to be there. I'm like, that was the greatest day of my life. I was such a proud dad, to be a part of that beautiful day and making my daughter's day so special. And I just can't imagine somebody not wanting to do that. So, having the opportunity now, a few years later, to be a part of that for others, is just one of the most incredible honors of my life. So it's truly been an amazing journey.
I mean, first of all, Dan, I have to say, grandfather of 6, and you look amazing. So,
Thank
Yeah.
just
you.
kudos to you for looking not a day over, we are still in our prime. So, I just wanna call that out.
Yes.
But what I wanted
Thank
to
you.
figure out too is I am, maybe just a little look under the hood if you wanna rewind a little bit. I'm a dad of
Okay.
2 via surrogacy. Would love to even just learn, like, how did you start your family back when?
I married a woman. I did it the old
Yeah,
fashioned
okay.
way.
Yeah, listen.
Um, trying to hide my sexuality, I married a woman straight out of high school. We were both 19. I grew up very immersed in the evangelical Christianity church, and
Yeah.
was taught, if you just find the right girl, it'll all work out, and, it didn't. Um, we were married for 5 years and had the 2 children that way, and then we co-parented, until they were adults. So it's sad, but it's very common here in the South, apparently, from what I've
Mhm.
learned.
Yeah, and also I was gonna follow up with, if you don't mind sharing, you can share, what your journey was like, because it sounds like, I mean, all of our coming out stories are so uniquely ours. And, in the non-traditional sense of how you were faced with coming out and meeting your authenticity, can you share a little bit about how that went for you, if
Sure.
it's not too personal?
Um,
Yeah.
my young by getting married and having children so young, a lot of my youth and I often complain I never got to be a twink, and I'm really salty about that. Um,
Fair.
but
Totally fair.
yes,
I've
but,
never heard it put that way, and I'm dying. That's great.
but I never got to do and I never got to experience that as a young gay man because I was already a dad and a father, and a husband at that point. So a lot of my youth was spent raising children, like my early 20s, uh, you know, starting a business, this salon business. If you can do the math, I'll be 50 this year. But I didn't actually come out publicly. Like those closest to us have known, for many years. But my husband and I got married in 2019, after being together, at that point, 19 years. Um, and one of our best friends is a photographer. So he and her and her husband's a photographer. So they came along with us. We had just had a courthouse wedding, and, that was our coming out was him posting those wedding photos to Facebook. And back then, it was a huge thing in our small town. And again, those closest to us knew because we'd been together for so long at that point, but it was a very public coming out. And he and I had decided, if we were going to do this, it's time that we become the people that we needed to see when we were younger. And that's kind of how I approached my coming out publicly is, if I can prevent another young person from taking the long way around, to living their authentic self, it would be all worth, any kind of backlash. And there was some, but it wasn't anything major. Especially being business owners, it was a little scary because we're like, how's this going to affect our business and stuff like that. So, a gay hairdresser, the shock and awe of that. But there was some, believe it or not. So it was,
Denial.
yeah, yeah. And a lot of people, I think, they reacted negatively to that because they were finally faced with it. It was okay if it was like something unspoken, but to see it, and really have to accept it, some chose not to, and that's okay. They were quickly replaced.
mean, taking it back to, Standin Pride, because I feel like all of this has probably propelled you to wanna do this more because at some point you were probably in the shoes of some people who need this support, and so we know that you were inspired by Sarah Cunningham, I believe, of Free Mom Hugs at one point, and it feels like there's almost like a parental Avengers forming, which we love.
Yes.
How does Stand in Pride go beyond just weddings, right? Because I know we talked about it a little bit. You launched an app, and what's the goal, and on how you're kind of create all these different outlets for people to actually engage with Stand in Pride, find support, and feel that kind of sense of safeness.
Um, I have a lot of ideas, things that we want to, go beyond weddings, and people are already doing that. I don't if you've seen some of the content that I posted late last like in December, like we have people that are showing up to births, because nobody's family, their family wasn't there. Um, there's just stories of, um, the holidays, you know, you think about spending a holiday and you have no one. And so people are literally they'll open up their homes for Christmas. for Thanksgiving, things like that, and kind of starting new traditions with their new chosen family. So sometimes the wedding is just the beginning of this relationship that, it continues to grow and evolve into more of a traditional looking family that we expect. So we've had people helping young people sign up for college, to go through all those forms and fill that out. People trying to find a recipe that their mom used to make. And, we've got these ladies that, they're like, I've got a recipe. And, dads who are willing to talk about, car problems, things like that, things that you would call your parent to say, can you advise me on buying a house? Where do I start? Kind of just things like that, that those of us who have parents that are still part of our lives kind of take for granted. So it's much bigger than weddings, but it seems like the wedding aspect of Standin Pride gets the most attention, but it draws people in, I think, and then they realize there's more to it than just showing up for one event.
The way you've been able to quantify this idea around the importance of emotional support through some of life's most uh, either significant or sometimes insignificant milestone events, and how important it is to have that emotional support community is paramount to your success. And honestly, like, it's so inspiring to know that you're putting your boots on the ground to build that. And so, speaking of the application, Brian and I are always asking, and we're always trying to get the word out of what does your community need from us right now, right? Is it donations, volunteers, time, or just more people spreading the word? This is we definitely want to help.
We need on the let's see, we always need donations and people. That's always necessary. There are certain spaces, certain areas in the country where there's less involvement. So people are having to, go much farther to find support. But on the nonprofit side, I need volunteers there too. It's really difficult to find people to volunteer to work. They'll volunteer to offer certain things, but nonprofit is work. And like I said earlier, I don't know what I'm doing most of the time, but I would love to have more like nonprofit professionals, like just some input would be amazing there. But for the organization as a whole, we always need more volunteers and spreading the word too, because my voice doesn't carry everywhere. It's amazing to me, when I do have a video get some traction online. Um, it just amazes me after 5 years, people are like, "I've never heard of this. This is so cool." And I'm like, "Where have you been?" You know? Because I feel like it's been everywhere, but it's really, it hasn't hit everybody yet, that this is even an option. And so, yeah, I think everything you mentioned, we need that double.
Yeah.
Um, Thanks, Dan. I think what you're doing is so amazing, and but we also want to learn a little bit about Dan. So,
Okay.
besides being a leader, you're also an artist and a gardener. So, when you're not saving the world one wedding at a time, like what are we painting?
What are we
Um,
planting?
one of my
What
first
all of
thing
it?
um gardening, just like vegetable gardening mostly, and some flowers. The other type of gardening is not legal here in Tennessee. But um,
Yes, I support all
painting,
of
like,
that.
yeah, I've really kind of let that slide lately. I've not had time to really indulge, but I got really into painting when the rock craze was happening. When people were painting little rocks just to leave them to make people smile. That was a huge thing, probably like 2017 or something, 2016, 2017. So that kind of, I learned that I could paint. I didn't know until then. And so painting on rocks and bricks has kind of been a little hobby that I do. but I haven't done it lately. And, I love being outside and working in the garden. That's one thing. Growing up, I had grandparents who gardened, so that kind of reminds me of them. And something that my dad and I have always done together is vegetable garden.
What a good reminder for people who, give so much of themselves to remember to find ways to give back to yourself and
Yeah, yeah,
recollect because, those sound like lovely activities. Daniel, you spend so much time it's apparent you spend so much time being the stable, supportive dad figure for everyone, maybe even us now, I don't know. Can you be our dad? But
sure,
on this
absolutely.
pod
It's
but on this
amazing how many
podcast, we
people will comment on videos and say, "Thanks, dad," or something like that, and I'm like, "I have no idea who you are," but okay. And I love that. It's
that's
a
2
huge
le
honor.
Yeah.
it's 2 letters short from going in a different direction, right?
Well, I get those
But,
comments too.
yeah, well, as you should, you're a handsome man, but we definitely admit on this podcast that we're the unstable ones, so we'd like to have a little fun. We
Yeah.
wanna get to know the real you, the guy behind the zombie Dan handle, so it's time for a very special edition of our favorite game, This or That, the stand-in dad edition, so no overthinking, you just pick one and give us reasons why if you want.
It's time for another round of This or That, the unhinged get to know you game.
You
Okay.
ready?
Okay. Yes,
Okay. Okay,
I
I
think
know,
so.
it's, like, kinda scary, right? Okay.
Yeah, where's this going?
Okay. Scruff or no scruff?
What does that mean? I don't
Do you like a scruffy man? Do you
Oh,
like
a
a
scruffy
scruffy app?
oh,
I don't know, it can
see,
mean
I'm
whatever
a
you like, yeah.
scruff, I think of cats or a dog, like you're picking up other scruff. Um, I guess a little of both. Like, I'm not partial one way or the other, so I couldn't really pick one or the other. It depends on the
You
man.
come off as a groomed man. Yeah, it does
Yeah,
depend, but you would groom him up anyway, so.
right. Yeah, I clean
Democracy
him
for
up.
hair. I love it. Okay, Dan, are you a chess guy or a buck guy?
Chess.
I like that. That's a good answer. I hear the twang, so are you a country music guy, or are you into the pop divas like we all are as well?
Pop divas, yeah, I'm not a big country music fan. I
And
would
that's
say
surprising.
90s country, I'm all about that. Current country, no. So, I would lean more to the pop and R&B of this spectrum, I guess.
We John and I were 90s kids and, like, stuff too, so, like, when we think about 90s country, I just wanna unpack that a little bit, like Shania Twain,
Yes,
Faith
Reba
Hill type country or,
McEntire,
like,
uh,
deep. Yes.
yeah, Winona, yeah, those popular in the
Le
'90s, I'm all about that.
LeAnn
Those
Rimes, I
divas.
love me some LeAnn Rimes.
Yes,
Those
LeAnn
are
Yes.
Rimes.
divas.
Yeah,
Yes. Okay, I like that. Thank you for giving
yeah,
us more answers on that one. Okay, if you eat a long day, you need to, like, clean yourself or not, do you wanna take a shower or a bath?
shower. I can't be
I like
still
how you
long enough to
said
take a bath. I like
yeah, I like how
just
you
sitting
said
there
clean
like it's boring.
yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's such a
Like
hot
he's a
take,
dirty man.
showers and baths.
yeah.
All right, you shared a little bit about what you do in your free time. Would you rather be painting or would you rather be gardening?
Gardening. I'd rather be outside.
Not today.
Yeah.
Not
So
today. When it's warm and sunny outside, for sure.
I love it. Okay, this is where John and I differ. Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Early bird.
Same.
Yeah,
I could be
yeah.
both, but I
I've
really
always
like
You kind of are
been
gardening as
both.
well.
I'm an introvert. I'm a very big introvert. So, for me, it started when my kids were younger and having to get them up for school. Like, I felt like I needed to get up an hour, sometimes 2, just for
Yes,
the
yes,
quiet
yes, yes.
time. And
Yes.
so even after they grew up and moved away, that kind of still continued. I get up a couple hours before my husband just so I don't have to talk to anybody.
Even in a round of this or that, you are letting Brian feel seen and validated. You
I
Yeah,
just
feel
don't
very seen
you
and
just you
validated.
just
good.
don't stop, Daniel. I mean, yeah.
I'm glad
This
I'm
is
not
therapy.
alone.
No. But when you do stop to re-nourish yourself, are you, craving some Tennessee barbecue or maybe, pizza from NYC?
I've never been to NYC, so,
Ooh,
yeah, it's kinda sad.
We'll have to
But,
we'll have to
I'm
change
not a
that.
huge
we'll have to change it.
barbecue fan. I'm more of a comfort food, like, give me a pot roast any day, and with
Mm,
potatoes and carrots, I'm all about that. Some chicken and dumplings, that's kinda my jam.
now you're talking John.
Yeah.
John loves
I
a good
love the
comfort food
Yeah, I love
meal.
the comfort food. I've been really big on soups lately. On TikTok, there's a side of TikTok where we're just finding out we're Chinese and we can have soups for breakfast. And so I just love the comfort of a warm soup.
Listen, now I'm hungry. I'm a fat boy
Yeah,
at heart, so,
I just had lunch.
yeah.
Love it. My husband makes soups every other day, so he'll
Oh,
definitely be a fan. All right, Daniel, thank you for being the dad that so many of us needed. And now I know I have an early morning texting buddy. If you're
absolutely.
listening and need a family or want to be family, go to standinpride.org or download the app or both. Dan, where can our listeners find you? Where can people find volunteer opportunities? Give us all the things.
Okay, you can find me on TikTok and Instagram under the handle Zombie Dan. Daniel Blevins on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. We all have a Stand-in Pride account as well. To volunteer, to actually offer yourself, or to find chosen family, go to your app store and download the app. That's how you get involved there. You can donate and learn more about our organization at standinpride.org.
That's amazing. If it's not too soon, Dan, I would just like to say we love you.
Oh, thank
And
you. It's
to the
never too soon.
I love that. We love here. And for the out loud and laughing chosen family out there, remember you're never walking that aisle alone. Stay authentic and keep
Exactly.
laughing. Thanks everyone. Bye
Thanks,
y'all.
Dan.
Thank,
Thanks, Dan.
thank you. Bye.
This was Out Loud and Laughing.
We're available everywhere you get your podcasts: Spotify, Apple, YouTube, iHeart, or wherever.